Imagine ripping your way out of a tent in the middle of the night and running barefoot into a frozen wilderness where temperatures can kill in minutes. That is exactly what 9 experienced hikers did in January 1959. Weeks later, rescuers found their abandoned campsite deep in the Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. The tent had been cut open from the inside. Some hikers were found nearly naked. Others had suffered horrific internal injuries. One victim was missing her tongue. No signs of a struggle, no clear explanation. More than 60 years later, the mystery remains unsolved. What happened on that mountain? This is the chilling mystery of the Dyatlov Pass incident. Chapter 1: The Expedition. The story begins in late January 1959. A group of 10 experienced hikers from the Ural Polytechnic Institute set out on an ambitious skiing expedition through the northern Ural Mountains. Leading the expedition was 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, an experienced mountaineer respected by his peers. The group consisted mostly of university students and recent graduates. They were all highly trained and certified in winter survival. Their destination was Mount Otorten, a remote and isolated peak in the northern Urals. The route was difficult, but entirely within their capabilities. None of them imagined that this journey would become their final expedition. Shortly after the expedition began, one member, Yuri Yudin, became seriously ill. Unable to continue, he reluctantly turned back. It was a decision that would save his life. The remaining 9 hikers pressed onward into the frozen wilderness. Yuri Yudin would become the only surviving member of the original expedition. Chapter 2: Silence in the Mountains. The hikers were expected to send a telegram once they returned from their expedition. But the expected date came and went. No message arrived. At first, relatives were not overly concerned. Delays were common during remote expeditions, but as days turned into weeks, anxiety began to grow. Finally, on February 20th, search teams were dispatched. Volunteer students, experienced rescuers, and eventually Soviet military personnel joined the operation. For days, they searched the snow-covered mountains. Then, on February 26th, they made a discovery that would shock the entire Soviet Union. Chapter 3: The abandoned camp searchers located the group's tent on the slopes of a mountain known by the local Mansi people as Kholat Shachol. Its name translates to Mountain of the Dead. The tent was partially buried beneath snow, but something was terribly wrong. Investigators discovered that the tent had been slashed open from the inside. Inside, nearly all personal belongings remained untouched. Shoes, warm clothing, food, cameras, everything had been left behind. It appeared as though the hikers had fled in sudden and overwhelming panic. Outside the tent, investigators discovered footprints leading away from the campsite. Some tracks belonged to people wearing only socks. Others were completely barefoot. The footprints continued for more than a kilometer into the darkness. Why would experienced mountaineers abandon their only shelter in freezing temperatures? No one could answer. Chapter 4: The First Discoveries. Following the tracks, rescuers discovered the first 2 bodies beneath a large cedar tree nearly 1.5 kilometers from the tent. Both victims were dressed only in their underwear. Nearby were the remains of a small fire. Broken branches high up in the tree suggested that someone had climbed it. Perhaps they were searching for the tent, or perhaps they were watching for something in the darkness. A short distance away, searchers discovered Igor Dyatlov, then 2 more members, all appeared to have been desperately trying to return to camp. Officially, these hikers had died from hypothermia. But investigators were left with one terrifying question. What had frightened them enough to leave safety behind and run into certain death? The answer would only deepen the mystery. Chapter 5. The horrifying discovery. Months later, after the snow finally began to melt, rescuers discovered the remaining 4 hikers inside a nearby ravine. Their injuries were horrifying. One victim had suffered severe fractures to the skull. Another had sustained massive chest trauma. The force of the injuries was so great that investigators compared them to those suffered in a high-speed car accident. Yet strangely, there were almost no external wounds. It was as though an enormous force had crushed them internally. One woman, Lyudmila Dubinina, was missing her tongue, eyes, and parts of her lips. Investigators were baffled. How could such devastating injuries occur in the middle of a remote mountain wilderness? And what could explain the bizarre condition of the bodies? The mystery only grew darker. Chapter 6. Theories and speculation. Over the decades, countless theories have attempted to explain the tragedy. Some believe the hikers were victims of an avalanche. Others suggest they accidentally stumbled upon secret Soviet military experiments. Adding to the mystery, witnesses reported seeing mysterious glowing orange lights in the sky during that same period. This fueled speculation about missiles, secret weapons, and even UFOs. Some theorists blamed escaped prisoners. Others suspected the indigenous Mansi people, but investigators found no evidence supporting an attack. Then came the paranormal theories: aliens, Yeti attacks, unknown creatures hidden within the mountains. Although fascinating, none of these explanations have ever been proven. In recent years, scientists proposed a new theory. A rare, delayed slab avalanche may have forced the hikers to abandon their tent. Combined with hurricane-force winds and extreme cold, the group may have become disoriented and unable to find their way back. Computer simulations suggest this explanation is possible, yet many questions remain unanswered. Why were traces of radiation found on some items of clothing? Why did several victims suffer such extraordinary injuries? And why did experienced hikers behave in ways that seemed completely irrational? Chapter 7. The official conclusion. The original Soviet investigation ended with an eerie and frustrating conclusion. Investigators declared that the hikers had died because of an unknown, compelling force. No further explanation was given. The case was closed. For decades, many official documents remained classified. As a result, speculation and conspiracy theories continued to grow. Even today, Dyatlov Pass attracts scientists, investigators, historians, and mystery enthusiasts from around the world. Everyone hopes to answer the same question: what truly happened on that mountain? Outro. More than 60 years later, the frozen slopes of Dyatlov Pass still guard their secrets. Was it an avalanche, a military accident, a natural phenomenon, or something humanity still does not understand? Perhaps the mountain knows, and perhaps it always will. What do you think happened at Dyatlov Pass? Share your theory in the comments below, and if you enjoy forgotten mysteries and untold history, be sure to subscribe to History Uncorpsed AI for more stories from the shadows of the past.